States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Hoffman.
Here.
Alderman Barella.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Collins. Alderman Morose.
Here.
Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Mayor Arvidsson.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum. We're going to start off with citizens' communications tonight. This is the time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and the board on any topic that is not a public hearing. Those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Any questions or comments for the mayor and board may be directed to the city clerk at or no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting day, the first and third Thursday of each month. Submitted questions or comments may be read for the citizens' communications section of the agenda. Thank you. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any item that is not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions, although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The mayor and the board welcome and value input from the public. Anybody here would like to speak? Come on up, sir. If you don't mind, state your name, and I know you've already signed in.
My name's Todd Ray. Forgive me if I get a little choked up on this, but good evening, Mayor and members of the Board of Aldermen and everybody else. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm here tonight not just as a resident, but as a father and as someone who has witnessed firsthand an incredible power of teamwork, professionalism, and compassion in a moment of crisis. Not long ago, my son was in a horrific motorcycle accident, and in that single moment, our lives changed. He suffered a traumatic amputation of his left leg, a broken orbital bone around his right eye, and he lost an astounding 10 units of blood. And for any parent, getting that phone call is your worst nightmare. And for my son, survival was far from certain and was actually very much in question. But that night, something extraordinary happened. A group of first responders from different agencies came together and they saved my son's life. A Camden County Sheriff's deputy was the first to arrive. She acted quickly, calmly, and with great care. But then the Osage Beach Police Department stepped in, helping the deputy, securing the scene, and providing critical support. And moments later after that, a Miller County ambulance crew arrived. And those paramedics didn't waste any time. They worked in coordination, each person playing their role with precision. And they stabilized my son and transported him to Lake Regional. From there, he was life-flighted to MU for emergency surgeries. Thanks to their efforts, my son is alive today. And let me be clear, without their quick thinking, communication, training, and skill, this would be a very different story tonight. We often hear about law enforcement, EMS, and first responders, but usually in the context of controversy anymore or criticism. But when it's your child's life on the line, you come to truly understand the quiet, everyday heroism these men and women display. I know they don't do it for the recognition, but the community needs to hear what they do and how much it matters to us. So tonight I want to publicly thank the Osage Beach Police Department, the Camden County Sheriff's Department, and the Miller County Ambulance District. Their actions are a very definition of public service. These men and women were the difference between life and death, and my family will never forget what they did for my son and for all of us. Thank you for your time, and thank you for continuing to support the incredible first responders who serve our community every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Chief, did you want to say anything on this?
You know, it's just what our guys and gals do day in, day out. Like Mr. Ray said, we don't do it for the recognition. We do it. That's what we come to work every day to do. And we got the best group of guys and gals that
Very good.
do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and Todd had emailed us a couple weeks ago and wanted to be here tonight, and his son Tyler's doing well, he says. long road to go, so thank you very much for being here, Todd, and thoughts and prayers with your son and your family.
They did get to come in and meet with the officers and over the weekends.
Yeah.
They've heard it directly from them.
Very good. All right. Is there anybody else here who'd like to speak? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the consent agenda. If the board so desires, the consent agenda may be approved in a single motion. Has the board had a chance to look at the minutes from the Board of Aldermen meeting September 18th, 2025, and the bills list October 2nd, 2025? Do you have any comments, questions, or corrections on those? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Alderman Morose. Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consent agenda has been approved. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do have a service award. I'm going to turn this over to our city administrator, Devin Lake.
I will in turn turn it over to Jeff Fisher, our Public Works Director.
Thank you. Greg's been an excellent employee, but I have far less experience with him than Chris does, so I'm going to hand it over to Chris Duncan and have him do the honors of speaking to Greg's 5 years.
Greg has been a valuable asset to the team for 5 years now.
He's probably can be
He's seen a lot of faces come and go, and he has been part of the skeleton crew a few times. Doesn't matter what task you ask Greg to accomplish, you know he will respond with a smile and a yes, sir. Greg is one of those coworkers that can get along with anybody, and you know when there is an emergency, Greg will have your back. You practically have to force him to take his vacation time, so if that doesn't show dedication, I'm not sure what does.
That's nice.
Congratulations, Greg. Thank you very much. Yes. All right, now moving on to unfinished business. First, we have Bill 25-85, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 710 Sewer and Sewage System, Section 710.070 violations. This is the second reading. Devin, you can take this?
As Cole alluded to the last meeting, this is just a cleanup ordinance, so I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Osteen, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Morose,
Yes.
Alderman Osteen,
Yes.
Alderman Barella,
Yes.
Alderman Rucker,
Yes.
Alderman Collins.
Do I get to vote or?
Oh, no, you don't. Alderman Hoffman.
I'll go with yes.
I knew you'd give me a yes. I forgot to put, we're right there.
All right, Bill 25-85 passes, second reading. Next, we have Bill 25-86, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 240, Aeronautical Service and Activities, Section 240.040, Aeronautical Services, Section 240.050, Late Payment Penalty, Notification of Delinquency, Discontinuances of Services for non-payment as set forth. Ty Dinsdale, you want to take this?
Nothing further to add, sir, unless
Any
anybody has any
comments or-
questions.
Questions for Ty, anyone? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Hoffman,
Yes.
Alderman Barella,
Yes.
Alderman Rucker,
Yes.
Alderman Morose,
Yes.
Alderman Osteen,
Yes.
Alderman Collins.
All right, Bill 25-86 also passes. Next, we have Bill 25-87, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 135 Finance and Purchasing, Section 135.080, Transfer of Sales as set forth. Assistant City Administrator April White, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board, I don't have anything to add, but happy to answer any questions.
Anything from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion to approve?
Alderman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Barella, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Collins. Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Barella.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
All right, Bill 25-87 passes second reading. Next, we have Bill 25-90, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending Chapter 100 and adding Section 100.250, Business Relations as set forth. This is the second reading. Any comments or questions from the board? Alderman Hoffman.
Just one question. I don't know, maybe since Cole's not here, no one can answer it, but is there a reason why we're only addressing Chapter 100 and not the other tax incentives? Was this an isolated cleanup on just that, or anyone?
So Chapter 100 applies to all of the sections underneath it. It's like the administrative portion of the code, so it covers everything in that section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Makes sense.
Any other comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Barella, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Barella.
Yes.
Alderman Collins.
All right, Bill 25-90 also passes second reading. Next, we have new business. Bill 25-89.
You didn't get you don't have your update. We need to do the presentation for Public Works. You didn't get amended.
I printed it off, but on the line I did not, so thank you for that. We're going to start with the presentation of Public Works fiscal year 2026 capital presentation. Jeff Fisher, please.
Good evening. First one I recognize,
Jeff, could you talk into,
how about if I do this?
if you can stay down close there?
All right. I prefer this. That way I can
Still tuning up some old
flip through
hearing aids,
this.
sorry.
Yeah, I
They're not working
apologize.
good.
I'll try to speak up. Recognize a lot of people. A 5-year capital improvement program, especially when it's the city's first, takes a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of time. So not only the Public Works team, the city administrator's office, we pulled this off. It's for Public Works Department especially, I can't speak to other departments, but mapping out 5 years of investments based on studies and data and knowledge and benchmarking and all. It took a lot of time. So I commend the people that were involved, and I appreciate everybody's help on this. A 5-year capital improvement program is basically a financial plan. It's a commitment to investments in our case, Public Works case, infrastructure. It's important to recognize that when you go to adopt it, maybe the city administrator's already shared this with you in the past, when you go to adopt it, you're really adopting the first year. We're proposing that in years 2 through 5, these are the kinds of investments you should consider when you adopt the budget. It doesn't mean you're adopting the 4 out years. And each year it's updated, so it's more of a living document each year. Doesn't mean that something can't be changed, and I can almost guarantee you in year 2 through 5, things are going to look a little bit different every year. But this is what we believe is the best proposal we can put together for infrastructure investment. And tonight I'm just going to focus on 26, but as we go through it, if you have any questions on 27 through 30, I'm happy to answer those. From Public Works perspective, our primary focus, if you were able to read the budget narrative, is data collection, which is asset management, and then proactive investment, and then operational competence. And I'll give you an example of asset management because I'm probably going to hear some questions later if I don't go ahead and speak to it now. Osage Beach Parkway. As you know, we have Vance Brothers out there working on that right now. And that's an example of asset management. And I got an email through the Fix-It forum. I wasn't able to email the person back because it came back undeliverable. But it helped me prepare for tonight, so I'm glad to get that kind of message. Some cities will overlay and not treat their roads. And they do that for a few reasons. Either they don't have the funding along the way to treat it when it's supposed to be treated, or the community doesn't like the treatment or something like that, right? For whatever reason. But usually they're overlaying it when it really needs it. What I'm proposing through treatments is that you can head that off. We can do microsurfacing out here 3 times before we ever overlay it, as long as the road holds together. Microsurfacing, what you're seeing out there right now, is 1/3 of the cost of an overlay. It'll get us 10 years. And this particular microsurfacing is first prepped by what they call a scrub seal. Basically what they're doing is using emulsion on the pavement, and they're using brooms, and they're scrubbing that emulsion into the pavement and sealing up the cracks. They do it at different angles, and then they come over it with an aggregate, and they roll that in. And then they'll come over it with a black microsurface that seals the road. It's sort of a leveler too. So you'll see that over the next couple weeks. The final product will be a black surface, new striping, and we believe we'll get about 10 years out of that. That's asset management. That's spending as little as the city has to get the most life out of that asset. That's really what it comes down to. That's the name of the game in Public Works. Spending as little as we have to on sewer to get the most life and functionality and safest and most reliable assets we can get. That's the name of the game in Public Works. So that's what we want to do through the CIP as well. Identify where those investments need to be really smart about it through data, through best information available, benchmarking how others are doing it. Maybe some other cities trying something new and they've had good experience with it, and we try that ourselves. So we get the most life out of the asset at the very lowest cost.
Jeff, can I throw in one question there?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna get 10 years out of that. If you did just an overlay, what would you get out of that, do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. So if we were to overlay, you're typically gonna get 10 to 15 years. You're crack sealing 7 to 10 years, and then if you want to overlay it again, you're overlaying it in 10 to 15 years at 3 times the cost. So after 30 years, 20 to 30 years, you've overlaid 2 to 3 times, 3 times more than you would have if you just treat it every 8 to 10 years.
Okay, thanks.
Make sense? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then what you'll see in the budget too, when we get into that phase of the budget discussions, is a lot of emphasis on training. Operational competence. Let's make sure employees are trained well, make sure they got the systems in place, automated where we can, and then give them the inventory that they need to do a great job. Instead of waiting on a pump for 5 months, because it takes that long to order and get a pump in, let's have things on standby so that when Chris or Caleb need to replace something, it's already there. And we're not smelling things. Now we got bugs. The bugs are working well. We're still in that experimentation phase. We were just talking with the vendor last week. The mayor was able to join us. And now we need to transition to being really systematic about it and automating wherever we can. So we're working through that. I'll jump right into the 26. There's some sheets in your packet that I emailed to you, and then I printed that for your reference tonight. I'm not going to go over the 5 years, but like I said, if you have any questions, I'm happy to do that. I'm just going to go right to the pages that speak to transportation and water and sewer for year 26 only, and just highlight some of those things for you. So in transportation, we've laid out the next 2 years of pavement management based on data that Rob collected through a third party early this year. That is best practice. We'll likely update that again in early '27, and then be able to map out the next 5 years again from that data. I will say, you have, as a team, done really well on the street network. The conditions are good. I'm not used to that. That's not normal in most cities. So it's worked. Our biggest enemy is complacency. Cannot sit on our hands when it comes to streets. That's economic vitality. So the good thing is, based on the conditions today, and if we were to invest at a similar rate that we are this year in the next 2 years, based on the plan that Rob has mapped out for us, we will have covered 58% of the roads in the community in 3 years. That's really rare to be able to do that. So kudos for past work, and if we are able to commit to that and stay with it, we will have covered a lot of ground. There's some equipment in this proposed budget that will help Rob and his team do even better, maintaining it on a daily basis. And there's some equipment in there that would even allow, if the board wanted to, some of those private roads that you've deliberated on in the past and helped or worked with the road district on, it's possible in some cases we could do that work ourselves. It'd still be private road, but we could do that work in some cases. Let's see. There are some culverts. Right now, there's 2 road culverts that we do need to do something about. They're difficult to do because you basically have to shut the road down, and so that's a challenge. We can do it. We have to build sort of a new road to get around it, but the idea is we would deliver those in a way that would be very expeditious, more of a design-build type of approach. Those would be box culverts, though, when we're done with them. So you wouldn't have to touch them for a generation.
Jeff, you know where the locations of those are?
That's the Nichols Road and Ash Lane.
Okay, thanks.
And then you see a Proctor drainage improvement. This popped up just last week. Alderman Rucker called me and said, hey, this was budgeted a few years ago. It didn't happen. Not sure why. Staff spoke with former staff to see what happened. I think it was just a matter of, it was budgeted, but then other priorities took priority, and it didn't happen. So I went out there and looked at it myself. I do have draft plans from one of our consultants. I have yet to get into that to see what I like and don't like about it. But we're proposing in 2026 to go ahead and tackle that. We've thrown $100,000 in there. I don't know. Right now it's just draft. So between now and budget discussions, I'll have a better idea of what that's going to look like. And then one of the exciting things about transportation is we've got money in there for OB Parkway, ADA, and sidewalks. And the road district, this proposal as is a partnership with the road district. The road district is excited about a partner with the city and improving the ADA and sidewalks along OB Parkway over the next at least 5 years. And so they've thrown money in there, and we're proposing that the city throw money in there as well. Some of that may be done in-house, and may be done by contract. There's a...
Excuse me. While you're on the sidewalk and the ADA, have we found the answer to the question that has been coming around about the fact of these old asphalt sidewalks that we put in years and years and years ago? Do those have to come out because they're not ADA compliance at a certain time, or?
Yeah, it's not uncommon.
What's the scoop?
MoDOT once did that as a matter of practice. It's not ADA compliant. And if we would have done an overlay, by the way, on Osage Beach Parkway, as was planned, we would have triggered ADA improvements. And that's why you had so much in there for the budget. You were building up funds to make that a project one day because you were anticipating ADA improvements throughout the corridor. This microsurfacing out here does not trigger that. So it gives us more time to go through the corridor and make improvements in a more manageable way financially. There's a number of pieces of equipment that's proposed in 2026, as I mentioned, that allows, some of that allows Rob and his team to do daily maintenance more effectively, and then also take on things outside of the system possibly that would be favorable to the community on those private roads. Let's see, vehicles. In your packet, we put together a rough draft 5-year vehicle and equipment replacement program. If you have any questions about that, I think generally that proposal is following the 60,000 10-year framework that you all have been operating under. And then some building improvements. It's also important to note that if you looked at your file electronically, you would have seen some color coding in these sheets. That's to indicate there's either a two-way split or a three-way split between the divisions paying for that equipment. If you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer that. Water. Water is going to be a big deal here soon. You have already budgeted money to determine where to put the next water well and tower. We're soliciting proposals from our new on-call partners this next week, and then proposing in the budget to do that new water well and that new tower over the next couple of years. One of the decisions that will have to be made along the way, sooner than later would be best, is whether to cash fund that or to bond fund that. We'll need some help doing that, and we propose that in our budget as well. And then another example of asset management is as we move forward, and it's implied in this CIP, is in the future when we do overlays in particular or reconstruct a road, we want to know 3 years in advance so that staff can secure easements or right-of-way, and the utilities, most importantly, can do their work before we get out there, so that when we go to put a new service on it, they're not touching it for at least 3 to 5 years. That's asset management. Let's see, what else? I guess we'll move right to sewer. Rehab, station rehab, we've done 1 or 2 of those here recently. We've got one that's underway now. We're going to continue to propose rehabbing these stations. We do not want them getting beyond their useful life, and we know we have reoccurring issues at a couple of them, so my recommendation is to continue down that path. We've indicated several rehabs, and then what I would like to do is use the rehabs that have been done recently that are underway as a template, and we just use that same template on a package of lift stations. And we bid the work. We have light engineering, because we've already done a bunch of engineering, and use that template to guide us through future rehabs and to try to be more expeditious, spend less money. And then Chris is also proposing same, like both of them. When we go out, if they see an overlay on that 5-year capital improvement program 2 years from now or 3 years from now, they're going to go ahead and plan to do whatever service line work or water main work or sewer service line work ahead of that and be done before Rob gets there with an overlay. So that's a lot of what you're seeing with those sleeves, service lines, that kind of thing. And then again, equipment, vehicles and equipment. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have. And they're here to help me answer questions.
Hoffman.
You said at some point, do we want to fund it with cash or bonding? I think you and I talked about this up at MML a little bit. If I'm remembering our conversation right, that if we could bond it and basically if you can find cheap money to do it, it kind of doesn't hurt your cash flow as much. Am I kind of reading that right, or?
Sure, yeah, especially like a state revolving fund loan. It has to be bond backed, I'm pretty sure Missouri's still doing that. So you still got to approve bonds, but then the state revolving fund will, you could be eligible for low interest loans compared to a revenue bond interest rate.
Okay, and I'm assuming that, that Carrie Bell will have some input on that, probably?
Yeah, so our goal is to get the rate study and get those consultants on board that can help us determine what the best route is before we ever take a step towards funding.
Okay, and this is just because I haven't been through the process. Does that have to go out to a vote? Or we can do that internally? Okay,
Correct.
great, that's it, thanks.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Alderman Osteen.
I just got a few quick questions, and it's regarding the pavement maintenance. I applaud the 5-year plan. You're very specific on roads to address in 26 and 27. I'm assuming in 26, you would fill in the blanks for 28 and 27 and
That's right,
29.
Yeah, I mentioned we'll update the data in early '27. So we will, even next year, without that new set of data, we'll project a couple more years out. We'll have good confidence in that. But then as we get new data in a couple of years, we may adjust a few of those. And that's why it's important to recognize years 3 through 5 are a little bit of a wag every time, but they get more firm each year. Each year we update them.
Okay, the only red flag I see on these streets is Jeffries Road. It's not listed for 26 or 27, but I believe there's probably going to be a immediate need for some work on that road based on the Oasis development.
Sure. Yep.
So you may want to go ahead and prioritize that in 27.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, again, it's a living document, so as these things come in and
Yeah.
priorities change.
That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Rucker.
Well, just since you mentioned it, Bob, I think it's also important for the board to remember that, and Jeff, I'm sure is aware of it, that with Jeffries Road and the projecting the work to be done, the funding of that is going to be a little bit different because we have some other funding that's available to assist in that project. So it does need to be planned. I think that's important. Does it need to be 27? I think, again, that's one of those ones we just kind of have to wait and see how things go down there and with construction and everything. But we do have that available funding.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to comment is very good what you have here, Jeff. I very much appreciate that. I think the planning that your staff and you have done is excellent. I applaud you from the standpoint of saying, okay, you know, this is what we're going to be doing out there in 27, 8, 9, whatever. Hey, water, hey, sewer, you guys make sure your stuff's straightened out. Or, hey, this is something water's going to do out here. Hey, sewer, hey, transportation, this is what we're going to have to. So the coordination of that is great. And it just used to aggravate the heck out of me that we'd go in with a nice, pretty road, and 6, 8 months later, we'd make a cut. And then you'd have a bump. No matter how good you tried, you'd end up with a bump. And so I think that's great. I know we can't eliminate that completely, but and I also think it's great that the asset management from the vehicles, it's been a very, very big thing with me, something I just never put on my radar, and I'm glad you did, and that's the tractors and the other equipment, the other stuff. I mean, we've just not had a plan for that. You know, we had a good vehicle plan. We fell by the wayside on it, and now we need to kick it back. But I tell you, this is very interesting for a bean counter like me to see a plan like this in place. And,
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Barella.
I too want to commend you and your staff. This is great to look at, and it's very detailed, and love it. I do have a question. I see a lot of maybe like new work, or if we had the equipment to be able to do the new work or take on a little bit more. What about the preventative maintenance? I know that's always kind of been like a bit of an issue, and what are we doing with that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That would be more reflected in the operation maintenance budget when you see that.
Okay.
Particularly in sewer, we know we have big challenges with that. So we're proposing to spend money a little bit differently in the budget, again, around competence, around having inventory, the rehabs, all of that. It's going to take a little time. That sewer division gets about 300 calls after hours a year. And that's a reflection of how many stations are out there, really, 1,200 stations, right? So Chris is starting to turn, and his team are starting to turn the corner on PMs. There's still a couple of stations. I mean, Sands continues to be a little bit of a challenge for us. But the walkway's built, the panel's in, we're waiting on a transfer switch. It takes like 3 months to get, right? So that we get that in mid-October. He'll do the work on Sands that we've been waiting on, be done this year. We just got to keep plugging away at this and just be as systematic about things as possible.
All right, before you go, I'll compliment you as well, because I did have the opportunity to meet with the what's the company that does the bugs?
Advanced Microbial Solutions?
And it was a 2-hour meeting that I never thought talking about sewage could be so interesting. And they were really great representatives, and it has to do with, a lot of times, I always tell them dumb things down so I can explain it, but even the bugs that are doing a nice job. And he was talking about how many calls they get after hours. That does not include the times that I text them or call and say, I'm driving by the Sands and it smells again, because I do that if there's a problem. But then also have called less and less and less. And a lot of that is dialing in the bugs with all the totes. There's about 7 lift stations out there, and the bugs are doing their job. And Chris is out there, can monitor those. And if you see a busy weekend, a lot of people down here, he can literally go out and dial that up so more bugs are in the system. Same thing if we get a big rainfall. And rather than dialing it up, you dial it down, wait till the rain goes through, and you dial it back up. But all of that, as we move forward, is 7 different totes. Have to go out and do it manually. And it would be nice that as we continue to grow, that can become automated, and you can simply push a button and say, hey, July 4th weekend, they can do it. So as we continue to look down the next 5 years, there's a lot of exciting things going out. So I applaud the whole Public Works Department. So nice job, nice presentation, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here, and ladies.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now we're going to move on to new business. We have Bill 25-89, an ordinance to the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 23.90, adopting the 2025 annual budget, amendment and transfer of funds for necessary expenditures in water and transportation. This is a first and second reading, and Jeff Fisher once again.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't think I have anything to add to the last discussion. I believe we got the numbers straightened out. Thank you, Alderman Rucker, for pointing that out, and I'll take any questions you may have.
Do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Rose, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, second reading, same bill, Bill 25-89, an ordinance to the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 23.90, adopting the 2025 annual budget, amendment and transfer of funds for necessary expenditures in water and transportation. If there's no other questions or comments, do you have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion.
Alderman Barella, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Barella?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Collins?
All right, Bill 25-89 passes. Next, we have Bill 25-91, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, repealing Section 210.770, panhandling and aggressive panhandling as set forth. This is the first and second reading. The city attorney's gone tonight, so I'm going to turn this over to City Administrator Devin Lake.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. As we have discussed this with our attorney who isn't here tonight, I think he's gone over all of the details of it, so I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Comments or questions from the board? Seeing Alderman Rucker. Oh, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Rucker, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Hoffman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is this a roll call vote?
For the second reading, yes. Second reading, same bill, Bill 25-91, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, repealing Section 210.770, panhandling and aggressive panhandling as set forth. Second reading. If there's any other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion to approve second reading.
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Barella.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Collins. Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
All right, second reading, Bill 25-91 passes. Next, we have Bill 25-92, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, accepting a contract with Victus Advisors LLC to conduct a multi-sport feasibility study for an amount not to exceed $58,000. This over to Marketing and Development Director Eric Hundell, please.
Good evening, everybody. First time doing this, so I hope that I had provided a lot of the information that you were looking for to understand where we're at on the feasibility study. So I think for the next few minutes, I'll just talk about the highlights of what I had uploaded to the system. In 2025, the city had earmarked in the budget $55,000 to do a feasibility study for a multi-sports venue. And we did an RFP went out in Q2 of this year.
You talk like I do, you turn your head.
Okay, so we did an RFP.
Alderman Rucker will be on you.
All right. We did an RFP in Q2 of this year with a delivery by July 11th. And we had 8 consultants who submitted their proposals to us. Those ranged anywhere from a $48,000 budget all the way up to $150,000. It also was anywhere from 3 months to 11 and a half months to get it completed. There were 3 of us. It was Devin, Carrie, and myself who independently reviewed all 8 of those proposals. And when we reconvened, we unanimously agreed that this Victus Advisors was probably the best option for us to consider at this time. Kind of the rationale behind that is besides being subject matter experts and having a lot of experience with smaller communities throughout the Midwest, Victus did a couple things that kind of differentiated themselves from the other 7 consultants. Number one is around objectivity. You know, Victus's business model is they're going to come in, they're going to help a community like ours do an assessment, determine if we should do something like this, and help us make an informed decision based on data. The others, they do that, yes, but they also kind of market themselves as a one-stop shop. Not only can they do that for us, they can help us with the building process, they can help us with manning the facilities and everything. And as a result of that, we thought that maybe Victus would be a little bit more objective in doing that. The other thing that they did that was beneficial for us, I believe, is the way they broke down their budget, okay? They've estimated this cost is going to be $58,000. But what they did, unlike the others, was they broke it down into 2 phases. The first phase would be $30,000. And that's where they would come in and do the qualitative, the quantitative analysis, speak to everybody in this room, do a competitive benchmarking analysis, so they could come to us and tell us whether or not this is a good idea. We now have the information to make a decision. Is it a no-go, a go, no-go decision? Okay? If we agree to move forward, then we go into the second phase. And that's where they'll come in and look at site selection. They'll talk to us about funding and building and whatnot there. And then that's where the other $28,000 would come from. So all in, it's a $58,000 budget. We have a budget line item of $55,000 with a cost of $58,000. We have some favorability in our promotion and events budget that can help offset the $3,000 that would be over budget. We also did a little due diligence on our part. We talked to communities like Columbia, Missouri, and West Monroe, Louisiana, where they had done field house programs there. Glowing remarks as it relates to Victus from a customer service standpoint, from a budget management standpoint, from a time management standpoint, as well as financial forecasting. So we thought that was a very positive thing. You know, at the end of the day, what we want this study to deliver is really around demand analysis. Can the city support something like this? If so, what's the sport that we should be going after? What's the type of building we should be going after? What's the competitive landscape? What's going to differentiate us from other municipalities that's going to bring the sports, the tournaments, and things like that to us? And then lastly, it's doing a forecasting and an economic study to really understand what the impact is. You know, I cited Columbia and West Monroe. The field house in Columbia, I talked to their president of their CVB, and she estimated in 2024 that there was over $8 million of direct revenue from the field house and had over 110,000 plus visitors coming to the city. And in West Monroe, they had even bigger because they do everything from besides basketball, volleyball, and pickleball, they bring in MMA, they bring in car shows, they bring in boat expos. I mean, they market it in such a broader way. They delivered over $22 million in direct revenue and over $8.5 million in indirect revenue. And so I think there's an opportunity for us to consider. You know, I'm on day 23, and I've talked to a lot of people in this room, and I'm building out what I think is the vision for economic development as it relates to the city of Osage Beach. At the end of the day, I believe that it's all about how do we retain and grow our current business? How do we attract new business and new investment? We know if we do those two things, it's going to bring the tourism. But how do we do all three of those things and maintain our sense of community? Those are the four tenets that I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about our vision for economic development. And so when I think about a sports venue like this, I ask myself, does it make sense? And in theory, it does. It fits into the model. If done right, it can come in and it's not going to cannibalize any business that we currently have. As a matter of fact, it would complement it by bringing in tourism, sales, revenue, et cetera. So I think it kind of fits into the business model itself. We'll have the direct revenue, whether it's from the sponsorships, it's from the tournaments, it's from concessions, and then the indirect revenue from having all the tourists come in. So I think there's an opportunity there. I kind of identified some of the smaller cities that showed it works for them, and I think there's definitely a community benefit for us as well. So when I was thinking about talking with you guys today, I thought to myself, does this make sense? I think it does. But I'll also say that probably everybody in this room has an opinion. Should we do it? If we do, what sport? Where would it be? How would we market it? And the reality is, I don't know. None of us know. And that's why we're talking about talking to a company like Victus to come in and help us do the assessment so that we can then make an informed decision that would benefit us, the city, the community, et cetera. So that's kind of my pitch tonight, and I'll open it up for some questions to see what I can do to help you guys answer a few questions.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Comments from the board. Hoffman, please. Alderman Hoffman. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of this, and I love your pitch, by the way, and we had a nice lunch, and we talked about it, and I thought you just nailed it, so great work. But and it's your first delivery, so well done. Do you know if this focuses primarily on our parks, or is it the parks are just one entity in it?
I think it would be everything. Parks would be one entity of it, but it would also be new space as well. And the other thing I didn't also recognize was it's really going after and trying to drive activity versus non-peak periods, right? We know we're going to do well from May to September, but what do we got to do in those other months? And that's another benefit from this program.
Okay, one follow-up question, and this might open a can of worms a little bit, but is the Osage Beach Grand Glaze Airport in that? Do they consider that or no?
In the study, in what they put out, there is nothing specific that they have said, we're going to look at this place, this place, this place. It's basically they're going in, looking at us as a community and a region, just to see what we can handle, and then going out and finding where we would put whatever sport or activity that they would think is good. Those locations will be something that we would do later. So they're looking at us as a community as a whole, not specific locations.
No, but it would be a place they look at also.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. All right, thank you.
Any other? Alderman Morose.
Eric, this is very exciting. I know that we've all been hoping at some point we'd have some type of a center to have sports. And I know we've talked about boat shows and car shows as a place that's concentrated in what you say, it's a focal point for the tourists to come. And my goodness, the advertising that we could do for the Lake of the Ozarks. I don't know how you got in touch with this company, but I applaud you. Okay, well, it was very good, and of course, knowing that they've got a lot of recommendations, and anyway, I'm very excited. I think this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Alderman Rucker.
I'm in favor of this. I will tell you, I was not in favor of it to put it in the budget. I was very skeptical, but I still have some skepticalness to me. But the main reason I support this is because of the phase 1, phase 2. That's very important to me, because if we went with one of the other ones, we're all in. And I mean, let's face it, maybe we're not the place to be. Maybe we're not the right place for this other stuff, these other activities. Maybe we're not. I'm in the middle of that way, okay? But I like this way, because this way they do the phase 1 and they find out that we're the place to be for race car driving, for pickleball, for whatever activities there are. We're the right place for it. Now, of course, finding the facility and all that and working it. But I like the idea that it's in 2 phases. If we're not, if after that first phase, we don't feel right, the staff, the board don't feel right, we've not committed at all. So that's why I think it's a great plan to move forward with.
Agree.
Alderman Osteen.
I also fully support this idea for this study. I do have a few questions, though, and these are actually directed to Devin.
Okay.
I'm a little confused on the funding for this study and how this is working out, because we're pulling money from community event support, from training and conferences to fund the cost for the study. Wouldn't that require some budget amendments?
No, you're just transferring money.
This is transferring money.
Yeah, you can transfer money within O&M
It just
according to
seems-
the policy.
Okay, I'm just confused, because if we are exceeding the budget for professional services, I would assume that should have been an amendment for that budget line item.
Yeah, the policy
Because we have
states
to
that
make
if
up
it's
the
under
difference.
$5,000, then you can transfer within O&M and personnel.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, like I said, I'm just questioning the process. I support it. I'm just, the money side of it, I'm questioning.
Alderman Rucker.
Bob, I agree with your concern or issue, but the ordinance is that what it is. It just passed history. Previous staff would bring it even if it was a smaller amount, but 5,000 is the limit. So they are within the rights of the policies that we've put forth. It's just past practice has been some time. So that's where, because I was like, no, this ain't what we've done in the past, but then I did a little more homework, and so that's why.
That's all.
On a lighter note, I thought it was funny that Alderman Rucker played 1 game of pickleball MML, and he's ready to bring in a pickleball conference.
Not to
That's all
play.
it takes, 1 game of pickleball.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion to approve.
Alderman Hoffman, do I have a second? Alderman Morose, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, very good. Nice job, Eric. All right, last item of business we have is a motion to approve a mayor signing the city park right-of-way plat on behalf of the city planner, Carrie Patterson.
Yes, so this is not something I would typically bring to you. It was kind of dropped in my lap whenever Mr. Drew left us. But this is a plat that creates a 40-foot right-of-way around the extension of Hatchery Road from the front gate back to the culverts that basically head back into the back portion of the property. And the reason that we're doing this is apparently it is required from the road district for it to be a road as opposed to a private drive, which is what it is now, in order for them to provide the funding that they approved for us for that project. And the reason that it's coming before you tonight is that anytime that the mayor is going to sign on behalf of the city of Osage Beach, the board is required to approve it.
Very good. Comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? Nope. Question, comment?
I was waiting to see if anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. First of all, I am very concerned about what we're doing here. I have a lot of questions. I've been involved in this process for a number of months and following it. And let me just ask a question. First of all, once this plat is signed, what does that mean? Does that mean this is we're accepting this as a road in our inventory?
No. No, so once the plat is signed and it's recorded, then it becomes a private road. It basically changes nothing as it pertains to the logistics of how we handle it. So it will be a private road owned by the city of Osage Beach, not in the public road inventories. So transportation funds will have nothing to do with this. So when any operations, maintenance, snow plowing, any of that needs to be done, it will still come out of the parks budget just like it does today. And candidly, Alderman Rucker, the only reason that we're doing it is because this is a requirement from the road district, apparently. So I guess I would say to you, from the perspective of what it is, this is what the road district, and I just got into this, specifically in, say, the last 2 months. This is what the road district representation told me that we needed to do. Doesn't have any effect on us, and they feel like this makes their ability to give us the money. I don't even know how much it is legal or within their rights to then do. So that's what this does.
Well, the road district has, they can only spend money according to the state statutes. And the state statutes gives them that they can't do it for parking lots and anyway, that they have to do it for public roads or roads. And so that's what drove it. And my concerns is the fact that how many private roads do we own?
How many private roads does the city own?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Hatchery Road all the way from Osage Beach Parkway to where it is now is a private road owned by the city, not in our public road inventory, because basically it's an easement that we got from the state whenever we got the park. Other than that, right offhand, I can't think of any, but I know that there are a number of them in town.
So you're telling me that Hatchery Road from the Parkway down to the park gate is not a public road?
I don't believe it's in the public road inventory.
There's a problem there.
I don't know that it is. We own it. We can take care of it.
They spent money on that and they weren't supposed to, because they can't spend money unless it's a platted private road.
Well, you may be right. I had nothing to do with those projects. You're asking me questions off the cuff, and I'm trying to think of roads that we have from the city's perspective. There's two different sides of us. We have the city, which is an organization that can own private property like anyone else, which is what the park is. And we can have a private road that runs through it, and it's not affected any different basically than it is today, only that it's a right-of-way. The one thing that it does allow us to do that is if we, for whatever reason, ever wanted to subdivide off any portion of the park, we can now do that because it has road frontage. But from the logistics of what it does for us, Alderman Rucker, it doesn't hurt us, it doesn't help us, it just helps the road district give us the money that they offered. And the basics of it is if it's not something that we can do or that we want to do, then we just say no and I throw this away and the road district can use their money for something else. But apparently this is required for them to give us the money they said they give us.
I will tell you why I'm opposed to this. Number one, this is something that we've not done before. That's why I said, how many other private roads does the city own? I've not seen any in our inventory that we do. Number two, we're kind of like, it appears to me we're making a way to circumvent the rules that we have. It just doesn't look right to me. It does not meet the guidelines of our road and streets guidelines that we have laid out. It doesn't follow them. I'm in favor of speed bumps down there. With it being a private road now, Mr. White, does that fall under our ordinance that doesn't allow speed bumps down there?
Not to my knowledge, but it doesn't allow.
Can we put speed bumps down there? Because according to our ordinance, we have, within our ordinance, a section that talks about speed bumps, where they actually don't call them speed bumps, they call them calming devices, that you can't put those on roads, you know, and it's, you know, the fire service has been opposed to them forever, and you can't do that. That now we're taking and making a road or street, or we're giving it a new name, we're calling it a private street. Private streets can't do this. If somebody came into us with a private street that a group of subdivision people group owned that and said, I want you to take this private street and classify it the same way you have your city park, because that's the only classification you have for private streets, and I want to put my street as a private street so I can go ahead and put speed bumps and et cetera on it. I think we're just opening up a can of worms. We're going about things just to get some money. That's what it looks like to me. And we have full rights with this drive that's down in the park to put speed bumps in there. We don't have to worry about any ordinances or anything, because it's not a street, it's not a road. It's the park, it's the drive, or it's a road within the park, but it's not a public road, it's not a private road. And we are able to handle that. The guideline says the speed limit for a road down there of that nature, it would be 15 miles an hour, or 25, I think. Anyway, there's a speed limit designed for that. If we follow the design lines of our roads, we don't have to do that right now. But when we start switching this thing over, I think we're opening up a can of worms, and it's all for some money that I think we're opening ourselves up. And I just think that there's more negative to it. I brought this up quite some time ago, why I was opposed to this, and those are the reasons. I think it's going about things the wrong way, so I cannot support it. Thank you.
Alderman Hoffman.
Well, I am in support of this, and the main reason is that the Special Road District specializes in this, and this is what they believe they can do legally, and they're helping us out by paving a road that we needed and giving us funds, and they've gone to bat to help us. And if they're confident that what they're doing is legal and it helps their process, I think this is kind of a no-brainer. And if we have to figure out later, because for lack of a better word, the speed bump police come down there and find out we're doing something wrong, then we could jump off that bridge. But for now, this looks like a total win to me. Thanks.
Alderman Osteen.
I do not oppose this motion either, but I do believe there needs to be some more clarification on it. We are basically doing this at the behest of the Special Road District because they're informing us this is what needs to happen. Yet we as a city are giving some pushback saying we're not sure if that's the right route to go. I'd be more in favor of tabling this so we can get some questions answered on, is this the right route we have to go to receive the funding from them? I'm a little confused on some of this. Like I said, I don't oppose it. I just think there should be some more clarification.
The road district is the one who requested us to do it. So I don't know, what questions would you have on that?
Well, going back to the speed bumps per se, private versus public roads, what's our liability? I just feel like there's a few more questions that are being asked. I don't oppose it, I just am a question mark.
I guess what I would tell you is when you have a private road, which we have plenty of in town, I'll use Woodland Cove, for example, okay? They have a gate, their road is private beyond that gate, they have the cobblestone, they have speed bumps, it's a private road, okay? which would be the same thing that this would be if we put the right-of-way bound. It stays a private road. It doesn't go into our public road inventory. To make it easy, it wouldn't be one of those, streets that has a green sign. It would have a blue sign, which means that if it's a private road, the owner of it still has full control of it. Any of the subdivisions or condos or any of those places that have roads that go in that have gates, we don't allow gates. You can't have a gate on a city street, okay, in our public road inventory, because we have to have full access to it. But if it's a private road, they take care of operations and maintenance. They're looking for security. That's what they're doing. That is the difference between a public street and a private street. The public does not go into any of those. We don't push snow on them. We don't, fix potholes. We do none of that on a private street. This would remain a private street. I know I had a conversation with Alderman Rucker, gosh, it seems like it's probably been a year ago, which we talked about, can it be a public street? And my worry at that point was, if we make it part of our public road inventory, we'll have to remove the gate and take out the speed bumps. It's a public road. You can't shut those off. But if it remains private in the ownership of the city of Osage Beach as an entity, not a community, then we would still maintain it just like we would now with the park budget and those things. So that's, this came, like I said, it got on my plate recently, and Cole and I have discussed it, and, we were both comfortable with, basically what they're wanting to do. With at the same time, I'm not stumping for it either. The money is the money, and it's your all's decision whether you want the money. It's just the road district is telling us, if you want the money, this is what we got to do. Bottom line.
Anyone else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Rose, let's do a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Rucker?
No.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Barella?
Yes.
Alderman Hoffman?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Collins?
All right, motion carries. Next, we'll move on to staff communications. We'll start out with City Administrator Devin Lake, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will get the first draft of the budget document out to you guys. It will be in a spreadsheet form. It will not be in the pretty little booklet that you guys are used to seeing. Of course, this is first draft. Monday is our first budget work session. We're going to do ranking of the capital projects and the capital presentations that you've seen over the last previous board meetings and this evening. So I look forward to starting my second budget cycle. That's all I have this evening.
Very good. Assistant City Administrator April White, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to recognize Deputy City Clerk Keegan Powers. She went to work on a motor fuel refund for the city with the state of Missouri. And this is our first year applying for this credit, so it was a ton of work. I'm not even sure how many hours it took her to coordinate that, but it equates to $5,000 in revenue for the city that we weren't expecting. So, and now she's got a really good systematic approach moving forward of how she's going to handle that in future years. So I just wanted to thank her for her work on that.
Very good, thank you. Chief Davis.
Just want to let everyone know we were granted the Missouri Blue Shield grant in the amount of $50,000. So we'll be getting some police equipment that we applied for. Lieutenant O'Day took on that task, applying for it and putting everything together. So we were notified yesterday that we got it. So we'll be being able to pick up some of that stuff. So that's all I've got.
Very good. Thank you much. All right, Tara, you have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right, Mr. White, you have anything?
I just wanted to share an update to my capital expenditures that I delivered to you guys a few weeks ago. Met a company representative up at MML out of Kansas City, and he was able to come down this week, take a look at our roof that I told you would probably need repaired in the next 3 to 5 years. And they either do the coatings or they do a new roof. And he said, I recommend neither. You've got plenty of life in this roof. What I would recommend, he said, I'll get you a bid and you can, look at other companies too, but really just repair a couple of spots and move on. So that's probably going to save us 75 to 100,000. That's it.
All right. Ty, Dennisdale Airport.
Nothing really new to report other than the runway project's in full swing. Things so far are going good. The weather's been nice to us, so yeah, things are looking good on that. Thank you.
All right. Jeff, you have anything else tonight?
Nothing, Mayor.
Eric, you have anything?
I'm good, but thank you.
Carrie, anything else?
I do. I'm going to throw out a bone to these two guys. They are new people, and I will tell you that having been able to deal with them both since they got here has been a pleasure. And then Eric, threw out his first presentation tonight and was great. And I tell you what, this guy over here makes it so much nicer not to have an engineer because we saved 2 hours on that presentation with him not being an engineer. So I'm going to tell you that I appreciate that more than you can imagine. But I am so glad that we've got them on board and appreciate working with them every day. And that's all I've got.
All right, thank you very much. Alderman Morose. Alderman Morose, you have anything?
I just want to say, echoing exactly what Carrie was speaking about, kudos to the Public Works, Jeff and the staff. It was well presented tonight. A lot of time and effort went in it. And of course, Eric, I already said I'm real excited about your new venture, and hopefully it'll all materialize. And other than that, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman Osteen?
I have nothing this evening.
Alderman Hoffman?
I would like to point out the memorial out front is looking fantastic.
Yes.
I've had several phone calls commenting on how great it is. Looking forward to getting my brick and getting one for my brother. I would suggest, I've had a couple people mention a few people that work at the city who are veterans that they should consider getting a brick too. I won't rat anybody out. They can probably figure out who they are. But it looks awesome out there. It really does. And I agreed. The presentations were great tonight. I know I just feel like we hit a home run hiring both of you. The staff has responded well, I believe. And it's just, boy, this was great tonight. It really was. And I was expecting it from Jeff, being a fellow naval person, but very well organized, well done. But Eric, welcome to the crew, because that was well done, bud. Thank you. Lastly, I just threw this out to the community. This Osage Beach Parkway really needs to get done. And our Jeff and his staff have found a really good way to do this, in my opinion. So I would just ask you to use patience and slow down out there. Be safe. I have to go up and down that road every day too. Just take a little extra time and be safe out there. That's it.
Very good. Alderman Barilla?
Nothing to add tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Alderman Rucker?
Just two things. One, to kind of echo what Alderman Hoffman was talking about, getting a brick out there in recognition. I think that's real important. I chose to not join the military. In my time, I didn't go to Canada doing that kind of silly stuff, but just I was the first year for a lottery and had I number and said, I'm just going to stick around here. But I did spend 45 years at the fire service, and I am being recognized with a brick up at the Firefighters Memorial. And so let me tell you that it feels really good. And if it goes right, I'll be within about 2 foot of my dad. And so it just, anyway, that's.
Congrats.
It makes you feel good. Makes you feel good. So I'm glad that we, the city, have done something out here that's going to make our military people feel good. Last is, Devin, if you could identify at some point in your budget presentation the fact of any of this year's projects that we won't be doing or that we won't be rolling over. As Jeff had mentioned, I dealt with the citizen had promised of a project, and somewhere or another it fell between the cracks, okay? And I'm mad at myself because I didn't help that process not happen. I knew the project was approved, and I just assumed it was done. So if we can just identify, if there's some reason, for some reason or other, it's not going to be done, and you've got justification, I think the board needs to ratify that, because we said we wanted them all done. So I just, if you could make sure that we're either doing them or we're identifying that we're not going to do them. I just think that's something we should do. Thank you.
All right, I only have a couple of things. I'm going to copy Alderman Hoffman too with the memorial out front. I think it looks fantastic. I know it was a long fought battle, but thanks to the Elks Lodge for working with us. It looks great. I have yet to get my brick, but I am going to get my brick.
You think I was targeting you or something?
I'm sorry?
You think I was targeting you?
Maybe, maybe. But no, I appreciate it, and you know, kudos to the whole group here. I know this is not always just about talking good about how great we all are, but William Holtz from Lake TV told me a couple of weeks ago, because we've had our ins and outs with him, but he just said, you guys are just looking like a well-oiled machinery up there. You guys are doing a really nice job, and so kudos to all the department. And I look around and I think, boy, how we've changed in the last 3 years. And not to talk bad about anybody that passed, but I'm happy with the direction we're going, and look forward to the exciting things coming this way.
You're here.
The other thing I was going to say is Anglers Outpost. I think I sent to all the board, but I told them I'd say it here on the dais tomorrow. They're having a groundbreaking ceremony. For those that don't know, the Anglers Outpost, that's I always tell people, for lack of a better word, hotel for boaters. It's the property right next to the Dollar General store, down by that blue and yellow building, the Harmy's Cheese Store or something like that, down that way. But it's going to be several different units, 2 stories high, 60 feet long, where boaters can pull their boat in. They can plug them in. They don't have to worry about theft, watching me at night, walk upstairs, have 2 living quarters, a little kitchenette in the middle. They're going to have a restaurant and lounge. So that's just like a lot of developments. It just takes some time, but they're having a ribbon cutting this Friday, and they're going to do it at the parking lot of the Dollar General store, again on KK Business 54, from 12:30 to 1:30. And they're inviting a bunch of boaters in. Of course, it's a big bash weekend, so looking for good things here at the lake, and that's going to be a great addition too. Congratulations to them, and hope to see you all out there. And that's all I have. So if nobody has anything else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Alderman Hoffman, is there a second?
Second.
Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting's adjourned.